Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Thank you for joining us on this week starting edition of Morning Spring. Today, Monday, 29th of September, year 2025. We look into public related issues, socio-economic issues, in as much as about the public good. That is what we deal in. And of course, we are here to do that. Femi Ojo is my name. Is a bumper one this morning, looking through different things happening in our nation. And of course, Daniel is here. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning, Femi.
Yeah, how did your weekend go?
Oh, great. Absolutely. Great to be alive.
I think that's important. That's the best blessing anyone can have.
Yeah. It's a fresh week. It's a fresh day, a fresh start. Good morning to you, our distinguished viewers. Thank you for joining us once again on Morning Spring. This is Western Spring Television. Daniel Emeka is my name, and here on Morning Spring we bring you the best of news and information. We start with newspaper reviews, and of course we dive into critical conversations, discussions with stakeholders, and like I always say, if it matters, you get to hear it from us right here on Morning Spring at Western Spring Television. It's always a pleasure to know that you're right there on the other side joining us, because without you we won't be here. It promises to be a great week, no doubt about that. Rest assured that it will be a great week. We'll be serving you the best of content right here on Morning Spring. This, once again, is Western Spring Television, and it's a pleasure to have you join us. Here we talk about various issues, talk about leadership, good governance, democracy, and everything that has to do with people, everyday people like us. I mean, national issues, local issues, international issues as well. And Femi, talking about corruption, we talk about corruption a lot here, and something caught my attention. Just yesterday, China sentenced, a court in China sentenced agricultural minister to death on corruption charges. Tang Renjian was sentenced to death. China is not taking it, lightly as far as corruption is concerned. President Xi Jinping has been doing a lot in his drive against corruption. And, I always say here, for people to know that you are serious in your fight against corruption, it's until leaders, start being tried, convicted, and jailed. That is when people will know. It has to start from the top. Right. And that's what is happening in China. Agricultural minister being sentenced to death on corruption charges. Until we start seeing that, people will keep, stealing public funds, mismanaging public funds. If they know, they will always get away with it. And as far as President Xi of China is concerned, I think he's making great strides when it comes to the fight against corruption.
And I hope sincerely we get to that point as well, where leaders, followers, everyone can be held accountable, and the system, we get to let everyone, the system will make it so open and of course transparent for everybody to be seen and everybody to be tried. And of course, that is just it. But then, either is Xi Jinping, Nicolas Sarkozy in France, Lukola Ade with the FCC in Nigeria, time will always reveal who people are. And of course, we have a nation to run. But firstly, we have newspaper segment. Time is, of essence. This morning, as usual. Stay with us. All right, we start with the Daily Times today. Quick one. Of course, it's going to be a very special one because we are going to be quick on the headline segment. We have various things to talk about this money. The Daily Times front page, federal government urges Pengusan to shelf strike, resolve feud with Dangote. That is one back and forth that Nigerians cannot afford to have the consequences. Federal government urges Pengusan to shelf strike, resolve feud with Dangote. And of course, below that, you see the picture of a cake celebrating Nigeria 65 with the Senate president and other persons. Their top strip, allegations of genocide against Christians, false and divisive. That is coming from the minister. And SEC raises alarm over AI-generated investments scams. We should all beware. And ADC to Tinubu seeking UN Security Council seat baseless without securing lives of Nigerians. That will be all from the Daily Times.
And from the Daily Times, we move to the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch newspaper, marketers fear fuel price hike as Pengassan strike begins. Marketers fear fuel price hike as Pengassan strike begins. Pengassan is the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. They started a strike, and of course, marketers fear that this will fuel price hike as far as fuel prices are concerned in Nigeria. You may want to read up details of that story on page 49. And below that, we have some riders. Oil union orders shutdown of power plants, alleges military foiled crude supply stoppage, alleges military foiled crude supply stoppage. And below that, TUC threatens strike, members on standby, FG intervenes to meet Pengassan today. Let's just hope that intervention truly works, because if what news you're hearing, or anything to go by, then it might be serious. They might be shutting down everything, and it might affect activities nationwide. Let's just hope the intervention comes in timely and they resolve it as quick as possible. Away from that, moving to the top strip, Christians not endangered or marginalized, FG tackles critics. Christians not endangered or marginalized, federal government tackles critics. You find that on page 7. There's been these talks about Christians being targeted. There are even talks of Christian genocide in Nigeria. The federal government has come out to refute those claims that there is nothing like that, that Christians are not being marginalized in Nigeria. There is no genocide against Christians in Nigeria, and that is the stance of the federal government. You might want to read up that story on page 7. Below that, Adamawa ADC gives Atiku ultimatum to pick membership card. Adamawa ADC gives Atiku ultimatum to pick membership card. You find that story on page 7 as well. And I'm still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Petrol exports hit 37 billion, 371, I beg your pardon. Petrol exports hit 371 billion naira amid heavy import reliance. Take that again. Petrol exports hit 371 billion naira amid heavy import reliance. You find that story on page 56. If we are still importing, and our petrol exports has just hit 371 billion naira. Now, that's quite interesting. You might want to read up that story on page 56. Recall that last week, Dangote actually exported petrol to the US for the first time. Nigerian petrol landing in the US through Dangote for the first time. So if we are still importing, then we're also exporting at the same time. Please, analysts, make it make sense to us. What exactly is happening? All we have to do is synchronize, our systems to make sure that everything works fine. It simply goes to show that we have everything it takes to thrive as a nation. All we are battling with is poor management. Once we can resolve poor management and leadership challenges at all levels, then we have no problem as a nation. Away from that story on page 56, below that we have another one. Pro-Wike lawmakers absent at Fubara's Independence Thanksgiving. Pro-Wike lawmakers absent at Fubara's Independence Thanksgiving. You find that story on page 9. The drama in Rivers State never seems to end. Something pops up every time. So let's just hope they have a smooth sail. Now that the governor is back, the suspended governor has been reinstated. He has to work with the lawmakers, majority of, which are actually loyal to Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. 27 of them are loyal to him. Let's just hope they have a smooth working relationship with the governor. But just like the governor said, it's all about peace for the state, all about peace. And let's just hope the people of Rivers State enjoy the dividends of democracy at this time and not, get entangled in the disputes between the leaders of the state. Away from that, still on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. On the bottom strip, Osun PDP, APC clash as FG releases LG allocation. Osun PDP, APC clash as federal government releases local government allocation. You'll find that story on page 8. Police rescue trafficked Ghanaian arrested live in Ogun. Oh, I take that again. Police rescue trafficked Ghanaian. Arrest 5 in Ogun. Police rescue trafficked Ghanaian. Arrest 5 in Ogun. You'll find that story on page 5. Away from that, 2027. NGE warns politicians against personal attacks. 2027. NGE warns politicians against personal attacks. You'll find that story on page 8. And that'll be all from the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Of course, that's what time we'll be able to permit us to do. If possibly in the course of the program, we might get to review others as well. But right now, we get to speak about security, especially in the north central state of Kwara. Stay with us.